unloading trucks and
Very
setting up
cool.
stages, and flying trusses for lights and the whole bit. So it was fun.
That's great.
And you get to see all the shows for free.
That is great.
Wow. Stuart, are you still in Colorado?
Get paid to be there. Eat their food.
Stuart, are you still in Colorado, or where are you now?
No, I'm in Atlanta. So
okay.
I left Colorado right after high school. I was tired of the snow and headed to Phoenix. So I went from cold to warm.
Gotcha.
But yeah, we've been in Atlanta for 29 years when the Army moved us here.
Gotcha.
We're supposed to be here 2 or 3 years, moving again with the Army, but decided to get out and stay here.
All right.
I'm ready to leave again.
We're going to get rolling here. My coffee is hot for now. And taken care of. Let me just take care of a couple last housekeeping items. All right, let's rock and roll. I think I grabbed this from Sharon. I would say that the content like this that I engage with the most, or at least that hits me the most on social, is Alex Hormozi and Sharon. And it's not just motivation. Like, there's plenty of that out there. Their posts get you to think, or at least for me, get me to think about how I'm thinking about things and creating more clarity and focus, etc. And so I saw this the other day. I saved it to share on a day like today, or any day for that matter, which is the goal for 2026: build a plan so simple you actually follow it. And last week, Monday or Tuesday, I shared a one-page plan, which, since I'm referencing it again here, I'll include it with today's replay and resources, and I'll share with anyone that doesn't know where to find those, where you can find those. But complexity is like the devil to implementation. The more complex you make things, the less likely you are to actually execute and implement. And I say this, and I've had that on my mind for 10, 12 years. Like, I constantly am reminding myself, can we just simplify this thing? This idea, this concept of simplifying a plan to follow, also, at least to some degree, was the inspiration of Lead Deck. I was following a complex process of multiple steps, Frankenstein together this way, to get myself into more conversations with people that want or need my real estate services to buy, sell, or invest. And Sean said, I think we can make that a lot easier. And I said, well, let's do it. And so that was the big reason why. Can we take something that is complex, but when executed is effective, and can we just make it a lot easier? And a good chunk of this morning, I'm going to use the tool to do outreach, because I have several deals that I need to do outreach on. I've got some off-market deals. I've got some of my own listings. And it seems like every one of these, I kind of get busy or off track, and I don't end up actually doing that. So I'm going to do that for a good chunk of this morning. For those of you that don't know, it's your first time or whatever, leaddeck.ai/closers is where these replays are being uploaded, transcribed, summarized, infographics, and we're doing our best to include resources that I reference on these as well. For example, 2 yesterday, one was the deal of the week lead generation and conversation system. And the second one is this website lead capture follow-up sequence, which is a 3-step email that I'm sending to people that are being captured using a script that you can check out at fastcashoffers.ai. It's a script you can install on any website that you're getting traffic from or driving traffic to that will capture more of the people into leads. In other words, they don't have to opt in. Now, it doesn't capture everybody. It captures about 15 to 25% of people. But this is a sequence I've been using. And it's not like I'm getting an overwhelming amount of response, but just in the last week and a half, I've picked up 2 new potential clients that replied to one of these 3 emails. And I meant to share one maybe yesterday because we were talking about it. But, there was one that came in over the weekend, I think. And he's in the reserves of some kind. And so he's deployed right now. But he said, I don't want you to think I'm ignoring you. This is what I'm looking for. I'll be back in, I forget, 90 days or something like that. And I'd like to get together and see what we can do. So it's more effective than not doing it. Is there a more effective version? Probably, but it's working on some level. And then actually there was another one that came through. She followed up on, I think, the second email in here. She told me her buy box. She told me what she was looking for. I got her set up in my MLS. I confirmed that I have her set up. And I also told her I'll keep my eye out for off-market deals that might fit her criteria as well. And so she's been very engaging, and we'll see. We'll see. I thought I would share. Go ahead, James. It sounded like you
I was just going to say, I'd say I have to go look. 90% of mine are out of state. They're not from Colorado. I don't know why.
That's interesting. I have a fair amount, but I wouldn't say mine is as high as 90%.
No, it's not like I'm my site's all built, for searchability or anything. But
I don't know. I don't know how to figure this out. But I'll at some point I need to figure out how to figure this out. But the organic traffic to my Bold Trail website keeps climbing. And when you capture leads using this tool, it tells you exactly where they came from. It tells you, like, did they come from Google, Facebook, Instagram, Nextdoor, whatever. And it also tells you what page they were looking at. And I totally forgot about this. It is even video recording what they're doing on your website.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
I had totally forgot about that. We shared it with Joe a couple of weeks ago, or we had him on the mastermind before Christmas, I guess. Which reminds me, I'm not getting that stuff in the school community. I got to do that. But if you want to check out that replay to see how this works and to kind of, I don't want to get into a deep dive on this because this is already a longer intro than I intended. But if you want more information, context, examples, how it works, etc., if you go into our free school community, I'll drop the link in the chat. It's just leads, listings, leverage. It's completely free. And the most recent mastermind replay on December 12th is, we'll walk you through it. It'll show you where you can sign up for free to try it out and all of that good stuff. And I had forgotten that I put that same smart campaign that I also just copied and pasted for those that aren't using Bold Trail. Stephanie, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm a little confused. Is this that page that you just had up? Is that with the email sequences? Is that the same that was listed in your school community?
Yes.
Mastermind? Okay.
Hello, this is Josh. Sorry, I'm following my own rules.
Okay.
Scam call. So are you asking, is this share code that was in this school the same thing?
Yes.
Yes, they're one and the same. I had forgotten that I put that in there. So this here, and that, and I'm thankfully I can tell that they are the same share codes, that I didn't just like get caught in my own confusion, but they are the same share codes, so that they're one and the same.
Okay, and then the second question is, how are you driving people to your Bold Trail and getting new subscribers there?
For the most part, I'm not, but I'm just getting traffic. I don't even know how. That's what I was saying. I need to figure out how the traffic is coming from. I have Google Analytics installed on my Bold Trail website. And every month it's telling me, congrats, your traffic went up. And these leads that I'm generating, I'm getting them from all over the place. So I guess because Bright MLS is so large, and our the IDX feed is so broad, I get leads that are looking at properties in Philadelphia, in parts of Maryland. You know, I also get them close by me, but I don't care because I'm going to follow a process. And if they want help, I'll just refer them. Like, I'm not going to go show a house in Philadelphia, but I'll refer them. So where I am more strategically driving traffic is, I've shared a couple of times on these, my organic posting process. So I post it to my Facebook page, I post it on Nextdoor, I post it on Google Business Profile, then I share the Facebook page into different groups. I also have the script installed on the page that I send people to for that. So I get people that actually opt in, but I also get as many people that actually opt in. I basically get double the leads, sometimes triple the leads, because I have the script installed. And those are way more often local. Hello, this is
Okay.
Josh. Good. How are you? No. So what I sent 20 minutes ago, that's a seller's property disclosure. It's required in state of Pennsylvania, and it's 2 other disclosures that our brokerage requires. That is not the listing documentation. That's a separate packet I would send, but these are things that are required. So I figured, let's knock these out as soon as possible, and then I can send out the actual listing docs later today or tomorrow or later in the week. Okay.
How we compared it. But this is what I was thinking. I was thinking about my basement. The day that I don't know. Well, since we're getting closer, the shed and the playground set and my trampoline set, I can remove it, but I'm gonna leave it here.
Okay.
That all comes with the house.
Okay. That is wonderful. That doesn't actually impact the real value of the actual house.
Okay. Yeah. Nope. And
Now, it might make it more valuable to someone that wants to make an offer that has a family, but as far as appraised value, that is not something that has a tangible impact on value.
Okay. Yeah. Nope. And guess what? I did say family. That's what I was thinking. I truly hope that a family comes here.
Yeah, and I think it will be. I mean, more likely anyway.
Yes. So this is what I was thinking. I understand why we're saying 275, right? I do. I was thinking if we could shoot for a little at the 285, 290. And I know, and I'm okay with them bringing, if needed, coming down.
Okay, so it is up to you.
Yeah.
Because it's your property and it's a big deal. Here's what I can tell you. That line of thinking always backfires.
Okay.
Always. Because, and again, I will absolutely list it at whatever number you are comfortable with.
Okay.
But if we want to get as many offers as quickly as possible, and therefore get the highest sale price possible, starting high has the opposite effect. And I'm not just telling you that. I can show you a mound of evidence for that. So if you're okay with the fact or the possibility that if we price it high and we don't get much activity, and it may take 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 8 weeks to get an offer that makes sense, I'm okay with that. But I wouldn't make a recommendation to you if I didn't think it was in your financial best interest. And again, all of that said, you have to be comfortable with whatever the number is.
Okay. No, I appreciate it. So what you're saying, what I'm gathering is that, and we can definitely, I'll have time later. We could talk more.
And we don't have to decide this right now. You know what I mean? Like we have a few days until we
Okay.
decide what the final starting price is.
Okay, that's good to know. But so what you're saying is that, and I guess I'm stuck on. Maybe you can help me here. You know the house up the street. That's what, and I mean my house is very much similar to that one. Remember that one you showed me?
The one that I showed that was the comp?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that one did sell at 275.
I know. Yeah. What I'm saying is if we price it at 275, we're way more likely to sell it to at closer to 300 than if we price it at 290. And I know that's counterintuitive, but I have a mound of evidence that shows us.
So wait, okay. And I'm sorry not to cut you off.
No, you're fine.
You're saying if we list it at 275, I could get a price higher?
So the goal of pricing it strategically at or slightly below what we think it will sell for is it is, I've seen it time and again. It's essentially a math problem. What I mean by that is this: the more people that are interested, the more people that see it online and are interested online, the more showings we have. The more showings we have, the more offers we will get. The more offers we will get, the more negotiating power we have, because you only have one property to sell. And if we have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people making an offer on the property, it's simply supply and demand. Exactly. So then I can go back to the 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 of them and say, this is where we're at. We have all of these offers. We're going to give you 12 hours or 24 hours for you to bring back your client's highest and best offer. Now I can't, here's my hesitation, or not my hesitation, but here's why I reiterate over and over, you've got to be comfortable with it, because though I have evidence, I can't guarantee that at 275 we'll create a bidding war. And I also can't guarantee that we don't still have a bidding war if we go with 285.
I got you.
I'm just saying that the
275 looks attractive.
The biggest lever on activity and eyeballs is the price.
Is the price.
Now, the home looking great, which Eric has told me the home is coming together and looking awesome, etc. So that helps. But like the first big lever is we have to get as many people as humanly possible to see the property.
Got you. Nope, I'm on it. Thank you.
Well, and here's the other thing, Shonda, I want to do, because when I sent you that comp, that's probably 2 or 3 months ago now, is it not?
Yeah.
At least 2. So let me take another look and see if there are any other comps, good or bad, that we should consider before making the final decision.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes
So
sense.
what I'll do is this. Again, what I sent you this morning, they're just like disclosure stuff. There's nothing in there about price or listing the property. It's just, it's a disclosure, a seller's property disclosure that's required in Pennsylvania. You didn't get one of those when you bought it because you bought it brand new. It's only on properties that are when they're resold. And then the other 2 are just like these affiliated business disclosure and a wire fraud disclosure. I mean, you can go through those, but it's nothing tangible, let's say. And then I'll take a look at the other comps and let's chat again later today or tomorrow to decide on where we want to price it.
Okay, thank you for taking time to speak to me.
Of course. I'm glad you called.
Yeah, all right. Talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, Shonda.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. That is a perfect follow-up to the conversation yesterday in our Founders Club, our Lead Deck Founders Club Mastermind, because that was probably for an hour. We talked about the 7-day stress-free home sale and having conversations and 2 major things. How do you pivot from I wanted a cash offer to let's sell it with my 7-day stress-free home sale system? Also about pricing and things like that. So I guess I should have gotten her permission, but she had already said her name. You guys didn't see her phone number. I'm not going to show you her address. So, and I knew the conversation would be good once I realized who it was. I don't have her saved in my phone because she's switched phones since I first. She was a cash offer request lead that I have been working on since October, probably. And that's just part of the game. But we're 3 feet from goal. We're listing it next week, and the last piece of the puzzle is what you heard that conversation is just getting on the same page for pricing. So, right. That only works if it's a special or celebrity property. I mean, I don't know. I just like I do my best to follow this principle on these sessions. I try not to live in absolutes. And so I did my best in that conversation, and that wasn't just for show here. I do that. That's how I converse with them. I'm making a recommendation, and also I can't guarantee anything because I'm not the market. I don't have a magic wand, but I do have evidence that if we price it lower, we more often sell it for higher than if we price it higher. And it's but there's still a equilibrium there of what's too low, what's too high, etc. So, and what she mentioned in there is a comp almost identical to hers, 0.2 of a mile away, that sold in September, that sold for $275. Now I could make the case that maybe hers is a little bit better, but even more reason that we should start at $275, because that means everybody's going to think like, this is great. And we'll have a frenzy. The other thing, this didn't come up in there, and I didn't want to bring it up here, but I will sometimes reference what the Zestimate says, because consumers look at what the online portals say. And if we're way over the Zestimate, like it or not, that will cause a potential problem, because there's a lot of people looking on Zillow and they see it. And it's, we're listed at 300 and the Zestimate says 274, and they're going, why am I overpaying for this? So I don't understand why I should pay that much for it. Something's not adding up here. So I didn't mean to interrupt you, Stephanie, but again, I'm doing my best on these to follow my own rules, which is answer your dang phone. And by the way, both of those weren't saved numbers. Both of those I could have assumed were scam likelies. And one was a scam or a spam call, but the other one was a client. And I would have figured out eventually that it was her, but I don't have her saved in there because she just got a new phone number. So, all right. Where was I? Oh, geez, Louise. I'm going to put together, with the replay of this, number one, which is there were 3 cash offer request leads that I've gotten this week that I've either talked to on the phone or through text or both, that this morning, I should have gotten to it yesterday, but whatever. This morning, I sent them Loom video replies with estimates of value, preliminary offer options, and planting the seed for my 7-day stress-free home sale system. All 3 of them were more in the curious, thinking about selling maybe sometime later this winter or springtime, but it wasn't like, I'm in foreclosure and I got to sell it next week. Okay. So different type of leads, like interested, some motivation, but not a tipping point. Well, it's almost 10 o'clock. I have a FSBO from Monday that I have a call scheduled for 10 o'clock. So we'll do that on here. And then I'm going to do buyer and seller outreach with Lead Deck if I have any time left. I'll also plant or share our weekly mastermind, which is normally at 11 a.m. Eastern on Wednesdays. Well, I mean, it still is. But last week, Stephanie was a willing volunteer, and we did a deal sprint. Today, I have 2 willing volunteers, Greg and Campbell. And I think Dana might be doing the sprint live. And what's going to end up happening is I'm not going to have time to do nearly as much outreach here this morning as I would like. And so I'll be doing it there too. So it will be more of a work session and just sharing here's how this conversation went. Here's how we found the deal, etc. The big bottleneck last week, or one of the big bottlenecks last week, was Stephanie getting a hold of listing agents because they weren't answering their phone, etc. So it took us a while. So I asked Greg and Campbell to bring deals. I asked them to complete step 1 prior so we could get right into let's find the buyers and let's start doing the outreach. And so Campbell, I know, does. Greg, I haven't heard from. I'm hoping he does. I've got deals depending on how many, how much time.
I now have 4.
Oh, beautiful. Sweet. Well, we won't even get to all 4, but we'll at least work through a couple of them. And
2 that are rental homes and 2 that are triplexes. One
Beautiful.
triplex and 1 rental home.
Sweet.
So 3 rental homes and 1 triplex, so 1 multifamily.
Sweet. So what I'm gonna do something here to get myself set up so that after this call at 10 with the for sale by owner, I can just rock and show you how quickly you can blast through a deck of potential buyers for a deal, whether it's your listing, it's an off-market deal, or whatever. I actually have several that we can work through, or that I could work through this morning. I'm going to start with one. This is a building lot. It's a buildable lot. It's surveyed. There's public utilities, etc. This is someone who's been in my Bold Trail database for I don't know how long, but a very long time. For whatever reason, well, I know for what reason. I send out a lot of stuff, and it might have been because of a deal of the week email or whatever. I don't know why, but he texted me in November or early December, and he told me, I bought this building lot a few years ago, and I'm trying to decide whether I'm going to develop it or whether I'm going to sell it or whether I'd like to sell it. And finally, he was just kind of hemming and hawing. And this is a good reminder. Like, sometimes we just have to ask. Like, don't assume. Some consumers don't even know what a listing is, or what that, some of the most simplest things we take for granted. So finally, I just said, hey, Holly, would it make sense for us to get it on the market and see if we can get you a number that works for it? And then if we can't, then you can decide whether or not you want to develop it yourself. Well, yeah, let's do that. So, and I've had some activity on it, but we had one verbal offer. He wasn't willing to go that low. I've been playing phone tag with another guy that called around the holidays, and he texted me yesterday pretty much very politely, but saying like he's kind of getting impatient. In other words, if we can't get a price that makes sense for him, he doesn't want to just keep sitting on this asset. He bought it for cash. He needs to turn it into something. Either, and I think if he's going to build on it, which he didn't tell me at first, and I don't know if this is a change in plans, but it sounds like if he builds on it, he's going to move into it. And it might be necessity. He might have just gotten in over his head. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to pull this deck real quick and get it set up for outreach. Then I'll call the for sale by owner, and then I'll come back to this. So this is the zip code it's in, and this is vacant buildable land. Some of these cash buyers may also be interested, but I'm going to start with the vacant land buyers. It's only 6, but it just takes one, right? All we need is one person who wants to buy it. And also, one of the for sale by owners that I talked to on Monday, depending on what conversation I have with these folks, if they don't like my building lot, they might want to develop or put in 8 to 10 townhomes like the other guy has. So I potentially already have bait that I can pivot to depending on the conversation. I'm going to choose the vacant land, and I'm going to create the target. And why does it say, I only have 48 credits remaining. That's weird. Anyway, I'm going to go to profile and scripts, and I'm going to go to buyer outbound scripts. And I'm going to update this so that when I get to the outreach, that I can just tap to text, et cetera. It looks like you may have purchased land in the Mechanicsburg Mechanicsburg area recently. I'm just curious if you're looking for any other building lots. Right now, we have one. We have one. We have one. We have one that could make sense for a builder / developer. Let me know either way. I'm gonna edit the text. Looks like you had purchased some land in the Mechanicsburg area. Fairly recently. Looking for any other building lots right now. We have one available that could make sense for a builder / developer. Okay. So last step in this, I got to make sure I save them so that when I switch over to my phone to do the outreach, it's there. But before I do that, I need to call back this for sale by owner. As I call him, I'm going to pull up his property in Zillow.
Josh, what's the possibility of being able to have different scripts so we don't have to edit them all the time?
That's a great call. I like that. Like one for each buyer type.
Each type that you're just modifying the name so you don't have to start from scratch.
Love that.
You want to send that to Sean? You want me to send
Yeah.
it to
Hi.
him?
Did you say that was Phil? Phil, this is this is Josh Shanley. How are you? Yeah, good. I appreciate you taking the call. Let me just pull yours back up. Yours was like 20 acres, right? In Newville. Is that the right one?
No, it's in Newville, but we have 15 acres.
15. Okay. Okay. I mean, it looked like an incredible property. Yeah, I mean, it just looks great. So the 15 acres, my first question is have you explored or do you have any info as to whether or not any of that could be subdivided off? Any of that acreage could be subdivided off? If any of that acreage could be subdivided off?
I really don't know. It's clean and green.
Oh, it is. Okay. Yeah, and minimum on clean and green is what, 10 or 5? 10. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, that was one of my big questions because I have some guys that like to do that. I mean, this looks
There is a restriction on the lane.
okay.
You can only have 3 homes on the lane. There are 2 on it right now. There's a third at the end of the lane, but that's really a different address. That's Lake George Road address.
Okay.
You could put one, but there are other restrictions too. The lot across from us is a field that is deeded that you can't put buildings on it.
Okay.
So
Okay.
there are a lot of restrictions. It'd be very difficult to build this on the side.
Okay. So that was my first question. And then the other reason why I wanted to connect is I do have a couple of folks who have been looking for a horse property. And so let me just see here. I can't remember what you had noted in there about the barn. Can you?
We have 4 stables.
Okay.
With all the electric was upgraded. The barn itself is upgraded. So it's nice. It
Yeah.
can accommodate easily for horses.
Gotcha. And you guys are still living there?
No, we don't live there.
Oh.
It's just like, you hang on one
Sure.
Okay.
Oh.
It's a vacation home for us, really.
Oh, okay.
So it's about 40 minutes from where we live. We live in Mechanicsburg.
Gotcha.
And we bought it in 2009 just as kind of a getaway.
Mm-hmm.
And then we discovered that it needed a lot of work. So we put literally hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Wow. Okay.
And so it's a beautiful place. It's just that we just don't want to manage 2 homes anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it was great when the grandkids were younger. We spent a lot of time there, made a lot of memories. The grandkids, 3 of them are married. They have their own kids, and we're at the age, where we just don't want to manage too much.
Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. Have you had any offers on it?
Yes, we have.
You have? Okay.
Another one that is coming this week.
Okay. All right. Well, let me get with a couple that I have that have been looking for something along these lines and see, if there's any real serious interest there. And I can certainly let you know. And if you don't mind, or maybe I'll probably check in either way early next week to see if that other offer came in and what may have happened with that.
Okay. That'd be fine.
Yeah, perfect.
We have one that is another one maybe, so we might get 2 offers.
Okay. Okay.
It's been pretty active. It's a beautiful property.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean,
People like it.
yeah, and it looks like it's had a good amount of if I'm looking on Zillow, it's got a bunch of people saving it, right? So like that means that at least caught their attention.
Yeah, we said we call them, but
Yeah.
they're savers.
Yeah, yeah.
But then a lot of that's probably real. I've got, you can imagine, calls.
Sure, sure.
But nevertheless, we'd be happy to work with you.
Okay.
And as long as they're pre-approved, if they're going to finance it, the offers we have coming in now, they're both cash offers.
Oh, okay.
The one is a maybe. We're not sure.
Sure.
She's looking at 2 other properties, so she may or may not make an offer. But she is a cash buyer.
Okay.
Another one, the other offer, that was a couple that made an offer. Actually, they made 2 offers. We turned them down, and so they said they're coming back with a 3rd.
Okay.
So we'll see in their cash.
Okay. Gotcha.
So, but if somebody's going to finance it, they need to come with a letter of approval.
Of course. Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely. I would never present an offer if they didn't. I wouldn't be working with them, quite honestly. Yeah. Yeah. Well, thanks for the time, Phil. I'll let you know either way. And for your sake, I hope what comes in is strong, but if not, I'll see what we can do.
Okay, great.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, I bet. You bet. Bye-bye. Okay, so interesting situation. They actually live in Mechanicsburg, which is like, I don't live in Mechanicsburg, but that's most people think where I live is Mechanicsburg, splitting hairs. Regardless, they live in Mechanicsburg. This is like a second home for them, and they've made some memories over the years there with grandkids, etc. But it's just too much for them at this point. It's been, he's had a lot of activity. They've had a couple offers that they've turned down, which tells me they were low, significant. If I had to guess, they were it's listed at just under $1 million. If I had to guess, they're probably in the $700,000 or $800,000 range, just by his feedback. I was being truthful when I said that I have some people that are looking for horse property, because I have had conversations with people, at least a few of them, because of my deal of the week email, that have told me they're looking for a horse property. Now, I don't know that any of them have the budget for this, but I wanted to do that call, A, because he responded. B, I thought it would be good practice for me. C, just, more examples of how those conversations go. And like, I don't care I'm going to do some work to see if I can bring a buyer, but I'm not married to it. And it's just practice. Like that conversation was good practice. And I also learned that he owns a home in Mechanicsburg. So after I follow up with him again, I'll probably add him to my Bold Trail and put his address in and put his email in and put him on a market report and put him on my monthly news direct mail newsletter, because at some point they might sell that house. They might want to move south somewhere warm or downsize or whatever. So very pleasant, easy conversation. And, there's very little bad that can happen when you have conversations. Larry, great question. Do you know if he will pay a fee? He did mention that. And also he had already indicated that. So this was, so I led with the, is it still available? Yes, it is. Awesome. Thanks for confirming. Wonder if we brought you an acceptable offer, would you be open to paying a finder's fee? We can talk about that. If you have a qualified buyer, I appreciate that. Any chance you're available, blah, blah, blah. And then he told me, how about 10 a.m. tomorrow? So he had already acknowledged that, which means, it gives me more, a little bit more motivation to see if I've got anybody in my database that might be interested. And so I don't think I would send that one or will send that one as a deal of the week. I'll send it more like a who do you know? And my deal of the week's going out today. I might send that out Friday and just a short text only email that says stunning horse property available off market. Who do you know that might be interested? It's an off market, blah, blah, blah. I'll do something short and punchy and text only just to see if I get anyone that raises their hand or forwards them, because 3-step blueprint. If I get any response or conversations, they may or may not be interested in that one, but it means they're interested in something. And so I can then go to step 3 and find them something, right? So it like kind of relates back to, like, I didn't close the gap on this. For me, my plan for 2026 is twofold. I want to close 100 transactions. That's the goal. The two things I'm going to do to get to that number is cash offer motivated sellers, which I'm going to send you how I'm taking those people from hand raisers to listings. I'm going to document that with the replay of this, examples from this morning. That's one. And the other one is just the 3-step blueprint. And those two combined, I'm thinking I'm going to get one a week on each of those buckets. That gives me 100 closed transactions. And you know what? If I don't hit it, that's okay, because like I'm going to be better for trying than if not. And I'm not suggesting that should be your goal. I'm saying that's my goal for 2026. And my simple plan to make that happen is those two pieces. And also, those are more of the fishermen. If you've watched the 3-step blueprint, I'm still doing the shepherd and the farming activities. Not really, a ton of, I'm still doing farming activities, because the farming activities is me, posting a new listing, et cetera. That's growing my database. That's planting seeds for the future. And the shepherding is what the listing that I have going live this week. It's my neighbor. He lives over there. It's a rental house that, I'm helping him sell that. And eventually I'm going to help him sell his. So I'm not going to say no to that business, right? But I also know that if I only rely on the shepherd business, there's no way I'm getting anywhere close to 100. There's no way I'm getting anywhere close to 50. How do I know? Because I've tried to do it like that. That's like, it's virtually impossible. Anyway, let's get to outreach. The one thing I want to say to Campbell's recommendation, I agree 100% with the idea of having multiple boxes to save scripts. And also, I still think you should edit every one before you start working a deck for buyers, because the more specific it is, the more response you get. In other words, we can't make it evergreen because we don't know. Are you reaching out about an off-market property? Are you reaching out about a property that would make a good flip? Are you reaching out about a multifamily property? Well, I guess the multifamily could be. But my point is that the little bit of insider information that you put into the script, that can make the difference between people ignoring it and assuming it's just spam or junk versus people saying, this is interesting. I'd like more information. That said, we'll work with Sean, and it'll be like cash buyer outbound script, landlord buyer outbound script, vacant land buyer outbound script, so that the default ones, if you accidentally don't edit them and you send something, which I don't know how that could accidentally happen because you have to manually, you have to click the buttons. But regardless, that it kind of makes sense on some level if that were to happen. So now I'm going to switch to my phone to do the outreach. I just have to find where I'm logged into so let me make sure I'm logged in. I'm going to go to the dashboard. Okay. So I'm in the dashboard. I'm going to go to Deal Deck. Oh, you know what? I didn't run them yet. Wait a minute. I saved it as a target, but I didn't run it. So I got to run the deck. See what happened. Okay, 6 leads. So there they are. So I got 6 of them. So I tap that green 6 button. Now this is the deck. Okay, so this is the deck of cards, but now I got to go one by one through the deck. Okay, so this is I can see the full deck at a glance, but now I got to go through it one by one to do the outreach. So I'm tapping on the first one. I've got one phone. It's a mobile. It's not on the DNC. Tap to text. It's a blue text. Uh-oh. Did I not save it properly? Hold on. It was an old saved message. So let me make sure that I saved them. You know what? I think I clicked it, but it wasn't like highlighted. So let me try that again. Let me refresh. There it is. Okay. User error. I thought I had saved it, but I didn't. So there it is, pre-populated, bang. And I'm going to tap to email. And I'm already through. I also have their mailing address. They're a local. Their mailing address is local. It's a Mechanicsburg mailing address. Yeah, hi, this is Josh with eXp Realty. I realize this call is a little out of the blue, but I was calling because it looks like you had purchased some land in the Mechanicsburg area sometime in the past year or two, and we have a building lot available for sale. So I was just curious if you're looking for anything else like that or know anyone who might be interested. It could be a good deal for a builder or developer. It's in Upper Allen Township. Anyway, I did text you and email you as well. Let me know if you or anyone you know might be interested. Thanks. Stephanie, can you explain what your recommendation is? I'm not following what you're.
Yes, so on that page where you have the scripts, you have the buyer scripts and the seller scripts, we could maybe put, I don't know, 8 or 10 scripts for sellers for a particular type of property, and then have a button next to it, and then click it as a default for that session. I don't know if that works or not. But it would be a way of getting a bunch of different scripts in there without having to change it every single time. And you just click the button next to the script, and that would default for that session. And then you could switch them based on that little box that you click.
All right, I will get with Sean to think through how we can do that in a way that is simple, clean, and intuitive. I think we can do it. I just have to think through I want to think through the best way that we can do it, because I would still want to edit it, because it is something that will increase the effectiveness, and no one single evergreen version of it will be sort of perfect, let's say. So,
Okay, so
I'm not saying
thinking-
no. I think it's a great idea. I just want to figure out the best way to do it, the cleanest way to do it. And having a variety of them, regardless, to work from is valuable. And one of the reasons why I have a couple of different deals that I want to work through is because I had someone ask this morning, one of our Founders Club members, hey, do you have a doc that has all of the different buyer scripts depending on the situation or scenarios? So, you know, it's definitely something that's needed. And I'm sorry, I cut you off. You were trying to say something else.
Okay, well, my thought on what it would look like is you would have a main category of, say, seller scripts, and then down below that, you would have, you know, an indent, you know, whatever type there are, sellers there are, and then the script with a little box over to the side. And then that box or the script could be editable too. I mean, you could have.
Right. Well, they'll have to
indent.
be. They'll have to be,
Right.
for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
But then you'd have a little box next to each script, and that would be the one that defaults for that session. And, you know, at least it gives us a starting point to edit the type of seller in there without just starting from scratch every time.
No, I think that's a great recommendation. I didn't see your question before about how are you generating the cash offer request leads. I'm going to answer this and also say that for most of you listening to this, you shouldn't do what I'm doing, because, or at least not right now, because unless most of you listening here can hit your transaction goal for the next 12 months using the 3-step blueprint. I am trying to get to 100. That blueprint, I am confident every one of you in here, if you followed the blueprint 2 to 4 time blocks a week of 75 to 90 minutes, I'll even say 45 to 90 minutes, you can do a deal a week. Like, no question. I'm trying to do at least 2 a week. So I have another main pillar of fisherman activity. I am paying for those cash offer request leads. I'm using several what are called PPL companies, and I have an agency that I'm paying to do Google pay-per-click for them. And I will be very honest, even over the holidays, as I'm thinking through it, I was like, do I really need this to hit my target? And I think I could probably do it without them. But I've gotten down the line enough that I feel like I got to give it at least another 2 to 3 months before I cut that off. And I will, since I mentioned it, I will include today, and I'll pull it up as I make my next call. I'll drop a link in the chat that has my recommended PPL. And that is, if you're curious about that or want to try that out, that to me is the best place to start. And I break down the different ones that I have used and am using, their refund policies, strategies, like how they, like the quality. Because, for example, I have had and continue to have success with Z buyer seller leads. They are cheaper, but they're also lower intent. In other words, I have to talk to more of them and get more of them to get someone who is actually motivated to sell. And then some of them are more expensive, but there's more motivation and intent. So it's a weighing of that. All right, the next one in my deck here, I have 3 landline.
Can I give you a success story?
Please.
I've been gone for the last 12 minutes.
I know. I can
running the
see
lead.
your avatar talking the whole time. I love it. I love it.
I want to tell you what happened. Lead came in for a type of business that I really do not work. She had requested info on a commercial property that's for lease in Cartersville, where I've got the triplex that I'm going to be shopping today. And we get on the phone and I'm telling her, look, I really don't handle this type of property. I've got somebody I'll refer you to. And she said, you have other stuff in the area. We own quite a bit of multifamily. So I shopped the deal that I got yesterday out of going into the expireds for triplexes, quadplex, and duplex.
Yep.
And I got a hold of a guy who's in his 70s and they're looking to unload their property. So I shopped that one to her and she's ready to set an appointment to go see it. But here's the kicker. Josh, I took your line and I said, do you have any properties in your current portfolio that you wish you didn't have? She said, yes, I got a house in Atlanta that we fully renovated that we really want to sell, and you're welcome to shop it off market. And as we're talking and getting to know each other, it turns out that her son went to law school. My degree in school was in criminal justice pre-law. So we clicked there. We started clicking on family. Then she talks about, she said, yeah, I've got an apartment complex also. I said, tell me about the apartment complex. Well, they've got a 48-unit complex in Smyrna that they also want to sell for $10 million that she'll let me start shopping that to other people.
So
Holy
that one,
fucking shit.
now I got to put this, I got to mark this one explicit.
$10 million deal.
So hold on. Number one, the script that you used, in full disclosure, that's Sean's script. So I want to give credit where credit is due. Do you have any other deals or properties that you wish you didn't have? That's Sean's script. Number two, that 48 unit, Campbell, after or at some point, I have legit buyers for that. That is a perfect, for anyone listening that is interested in multifamily or that type of transaction, 10 to 50 units, they're too small for institutional investors and they're too big for most of the typical landlords. But I have access and I literally have 5 off the top of my head who would absolutely immediately take a look at it. They would underwrite it and say, I'm interested, this is my number, or, whatever. So I want to get with you on that. And what you just shared illustrates, I don't know how to communicate this, but you just did it perfectly in just telling the story, is if you get in motion and you listen and you ask questions, it's like, in the movies where the FBI has the pinboard in the back and they're like, this connects to this, connects to this, connects to this, connects to this. And while Campbell was on the phone with this person, he was already making connections. I got this off-market deal over here that they might be interested in. And she just shared one that matches with this. But it's not a linear thing, right? It's just, and that's the game. That's what we're compensated for, is being
3 potential deals from one call.
But
they're always looking to buy more. So she wants me to shop off-market properties I've got to her.
You said one call, but it wasn't one call. You've been working that one call, but you that's the thing that's the trick of this. And that's the thing that messes with people's brains, is if you just knew that the 5th call you make is going to be that call, you'd make the 5 calls. The problem is you can't know it. And it might take 5, it might take 10, it might take 20. And also, it's worth it. Either way. Good on you. That was awesome.
I will tell this story in the 11:15 call. I got to get off in just a minute because I got to go get a shower because I got a listing appointment today I got to go to. And I want to be ready to go out the door when we finish up the blitz today.
Beautiful. Good stuff. So This is the document that I mentioned with the PPL providers. This is the next lead in the deck. This is the vacant land. There's only landlines and they're all on the DNC. So I'm going to try to enhance this. We have 2 layers of skip tracing built into the tool, which, by the way, if you're not one of the Founders Club or you're not using it, you can go to leaddeck.ai, leaddeck.ai, enter your zip code, and it'll give you lead counts. You can take a test drive of it, get a few free credits. And then if you're interested, there are multiple next best step. You can watch a workshop on demand. You can set up a personal, like one-on-one test drive and check it out. It looks like no other data came back, but no harm, no foul. Like there's no, if additional skip tracing doesn't work, it's just, you know, there's nothing negative happens. I've got a mobile number here on this one. Wow, that is quite a first name. I've got a mobile number on that one, so I'm going to tap to email, or I'm tap to text and tap to email. Maybe then you'll understand. All right, and just because I want to get to one more deck and 11 a.m., I'm going to try and keep working through here, which is I'm explaining why I'm not calling all of these. It's just a time constraint thing. This one is a mobile number. It has a mobile, but it's on the DNC. I'm going to skip it. I'm just going to email. I have found that with buyers, they actually respond to email. When I did this work last Monday. I emailed 5 buyers in a deck. One of them responded, and that was one small sample size, admittedly. But generally speaking, 1 out of anywhere in 5 to 10, to me, buyer side respond because you have something they're looking for. You have something they want. You're not, I don't know. You're not trying to force a round peg into a square hole. I don't know if that makes any sense or not. But this one is also on the DNC, so I'm just going to tap to email this one. And I wanted to pull up one other deck and just, kind of tell a little bit of a story similar to Campbell's story there. These are also all on the DNC. I will, I'll say I haven't worked the vacant land buyer leads very often. Man, I think I'm talking too much this week because my words just don't want to come out. So this is maybe the second vacant land deck that I've worked through. We'll see. Of the buyer buckets, the one that I've most consistently been able to get into a conversation the easiest, in other words, like the highest conversation rate, I'll call it, for me has been with the cash buyers. And this is maybe anecdotal because I don't know how to prove this. But in my experience, a lot of them own a business or multiple businesses. And it could be a service-based business or something locally, and or their business is real estate. So they're just more predisposed to answering their phone, responding to texts, and responding to emails. Again, that may be anecdotal evidence. And that same anecdotal evidence should hold true with the active landlord buyers and the multifamily buyers, because a lot of them are managing properties themselves. So they're used to answering the phone for tenant requests or, for service, service professionals, I got to have the plumber go out and do this, that, and the other thing, or we're putting a roof on this thing. Anyway, again, anecdotal, but that's been my experience. So I'm going to do one more poll here. And I'm going to edit the outbound script because it's a different deal. And it's more just because I want to check this out. So late-ish last night, I got a text from a guy. I can't remember how I connected with him, but he's not licensed. I don't think he's licensed, but he's more of a wholesaler. And I've sent him some deals that we had to see if he could find a buyer, and vice versa. And he texted me last night and he asked, "Do you have any multifamily buyers?" Or he said, "Do you have any buyers in Hanover?" And immediately I have 3. Like, I know immediately I have 3 from the 3-step blueprint. In other words, before I started doing these closers cafes like this, open on Zoom, and I was just me live streaming, in October or November, I don't remember when, I went and found a deal. It was a bank-owned property in Hanover. I used Lead Deck. I found the cash buyers. I started doing outreach. I have at least 3 of them saved into my phone. He then said it's a 3-unit. Now, those guys might be interested, and I'll reach out to them. But I also figured, let me pull the actual multifamily buyers as well. So let me find, I don't want 63. 63 is too many. This is for all of Hanover. I made this analogy a couple of times yesterday. If you've been looking at Lead Deck and what we're doing, and you're looking through it from the lens of the typical internet lead conversion, this is not what this is. Typical internet lead conversion is 1.5, or I'm sorry, 0.5 to 1%. So you get 100 leads, maybe it turns into 1. That is not what this is. And I'm not suggesting like it's 100% conversion, but it's exponentially greater than that typical lead conversion that you think of. Susan, go ahead while I find the zip code for this one.
Yeah, just a quick question as usual, kind of off topic, but what do you do when you've contacted, this has all been through text, a potential buyer, and I have that off-market property and they just want the address? I mean, I guess on my part, maybe I'm not trusting enough, but I kind of feel like that could be an issue. They want the address. They don't want any of the other information that I already have.
How do you know they don't want any of the other information?
Because I just asked him for his email address, which I didn't have, which wasn't in Lead Deck. And he just said, send me the address.
Well, two possible answers, and you pick. I might just ignore him. Okay. Reason being, you got someone in conversation. I guarantee you can get others, and others that are maybe more engaging. That is not what I would do personally. Now, this off-market deal, I guess, let me ask one more question. What is this off-market deal?
It's a home that is in pre-foreclosure. It needs repairs, but there's about $100,000 gap between what he needs or what he thinks he can get, or what I think he can get.
Do you have, like, how did you find that one?
Oh, that is the guy that I ended up sending a letter to because he was a seller on the DNC and I didn't have an email. And he responded back to me.
Okay, so he responded back to you how? In other words, what level of rapport and relationship do you have with this person?
I've been there. I've met him. I've taken photos.
Perfect. So this is what, if it were me, this is what I would do. I would send a personal video message back to this buyer. It would be a Loom video for me. It would be a Loom video, but whatever you have is fine. I would send a personal Loom video. It would be on my laptop with my webcam. I would have the pictures pulled up. And if you have any other info, I would open it by saying, I would have his name flashing on the screen. Hey, thanks for your interest. I'll include the address with this. I thought I would give you other information as well, so you can save time and quickly underwrite or do your due diligence. Here are all the photos. I've already met with him. This is the situation and scenario. If you're interested and would like to check it out in person, let me know. I can schedule with the owner. I've got a good relationship and rapport with him at this point. That's how I would do it. If you get the sense that that's not a good idea, or if you have a funny feeling about this guy, I would just ignore him, because you have a real cookie. You have a real deal. Off market and distressed, you will not have any problem finding another 5 or 10 of those people who will be more communicative. And also, just because he's saying that doesn't mean that he won't honor and value you. He may just be legitimately busy and be more like me, who is very direct and just wants, I want the information in as clear and concise and short window as possible. So if you send that video to him, it had better be less than 60 seconds. Closer to 30 if you can get it. No fluff. Hey, Jeff, it's Susan. I've got the address here with this. I also thought I would send you the photos and let you know that I've already been at the property. I've got good relationship and rapport with the owner. If you want to check it out in person, let me know. I can get it scheduled for you. That's it.
Okay, perfect.
Love it.
I guess I was just kind of taken aback when he replied. He just now replied back and said, send me the address. Done, finished.
Okay, why were you taken aback?
Well, because I've already done the research. I've got some research. I've got a list of the updates that need to be made. I've got a list of the updates he's done. Just a lot of information that a flipper would want.
Okay.
No?
So, no, because someone like that, you may give them the address and they have a buy box and it's clearly defined, and they can say, I don't buy in that neighborhood. So what you're viewing as a negative thing may actually be a very positive thing, because in my experience, the more clearly defined the criteria the buyer has, the easier it is to bring them that. Where it becomes difficult, how many of you have ever had a client, a buyer that's like, I'm looking anywhere in a 45-minute radius and anywhere from 200 to 500,000 and anywhere from, 3 to 5 bedroom, like that becomes impossible. I'm like, what do I do with that? Like, I'll set you up on a search alert, and then when you have a better idea of what you're actually looking for, I'll get to work for you. But until we have more clarity on what that looks like. For example, I don't know if you said I've got an off-market deal in city, but he may know that he buys in that zip code and he doesn't buy in the other zip code. And I'm not suggesting that may be the case in this one. I'm providing an opposing view to what you viewed as maybe standoffish. He is someone that is all business, knows what he wants, what works for him, what doesn't, and he's busy. Like this Sam guy, I keep playing phone tag with him because the guy is busy as all get out, because he's doing deals, he's got a profitable business, etc. And so people like that, busy people are more likely to be like that. And those are the people that you want to work with, because there's a reason they're busy. And also, you have a great deal, a great cookie, so you can find a whole bunch more of them, and some that you feel like you connect more with. So either one, I think you're fine. I told you what I would do. If you want to ignore it, you're going to find plenty more anyway.
Thanks.
You bet.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Looks like you're a pretty, you own a couple multi-family properties in the Hanover area. Just looking for, just curious if you're looking for any other deals right now. We have an off-market 3-unit that could be a good addition to your portfolio. This is going to be the last thing because I'm going to have to regroup before the sprint. Let's see here. Let me know either way. This came up. It wasn't on this, I think I was helping Hillary on my team do this outreach. In the email body, I don't have my signature, like my full name, EXP, etc., because on my phone, I already have that as a signature. So I'll show when I tap to email, it pre-populates on my phone. If you don't know how to do that or you don't have that on here, you can put that in there. So if I didn't, I would put Josh Shanley, line break, EXP Realty, line break, my cell phone, parentheses, call or text me at this number. And I would put my office number because in Pennsylvania, if I put my phone number, technically I'm supposed to put the office number. And even though it's a personal email, I mean, there's no harm in putting it there. I already have that saved and that pre-populates on my phone. But if you didn't, you can do that in here. Okay, hold on. So looking for any deals right now. We have an off-market 3-unit that could be a good addition to. The thing I don't love about how I'm framing this is I'm projecting on them that it could be a good addition to their portfolio. So in my brain, I'm trying to figure out how do I make it sound like this could be a good addition for someone's portfolio, right? Because birds of a feather flock together. And a lot of these folks that I'm talking to, they're not interested, but they're like, I know 3 other guys that are, potentially looking. So maybe if I talk through this, and I still have to edit the top part of this, it'll come to me a better way to frame this, because there are some people that receive that and they're like, this guy's telling me I should buy his 3-unit? Like, who is he to say? I don't even know who this guy is, right? Like, I don't know. I'm just trying to
How about this? Could be a good addition for the right investor.
Yeah, we have an off market that could be a good addition for the right investor. Perfect. Which is kind of how I had it before, or somewhat, or I've used that example before. So thank you. That's great. Looks like you, what did I say up here? You own a couple multifamily properties in the Hanover area, and that's good enough. I'm going to save. It actually saved. So this is lat 1047. Oh my goodness. All right, so it already got him up here. I'm just going to do one, and then I got to hop off and regroup for 10 minutes. So this first one here, look at this. 70 properties. 70. Sandy owns 70. Tap the text. It's not Sandy, it was Sandry. I misread that. Here's where I'm saying where I have that's pre-populated because I have it saved in my phone under the mail settings. So it's already in there. What happened? Hold on. There we go. So I sent a text and 3 emails in 60 seconds or less. If those for those of you that want to join us for the deal sprint, let me get the link in the chat. You can check out the replay of today's and this is episode 8, I think, of the Closers Cafe in the new format. All of those are at leaddeck.ai/closers. leaddeck.ai/closers. Once this replay is ready and available, we'll get it added there, as well as the other resources and docs and all of that I had shared. And I mean, the deal sprint should be fun because Campbell's he's already won the deal sprint as far as I'm concerned. Like, he can take the day off. He already has an appointment this afternoon, a listing appointment, and he just created those opportunities or potential opportunities while we were live here. So, and I'm glad that at least one person hanging out here is also, working as I'm working, right? Because as much as I love you all being here with me and watching and asking questions, I want you to be taking action and implementing as well. All right. Thanks, everybody. If we don't see you on the Deal Sprint, I'll be back here tomorrow morning. Quick scheduling note, no cafe Friday or Monday. My kids have off Friday. I don't know why. We just had the holidays. They just had a bunch of days off, but they have off. So I won't be going live. And then Monday is MLK Day. So they're off for that. So tomorrow and then not again until Tuesday. See everybody, if not tomorrow, in apparently 10 minutes.